Cinemaniacs, we are back, baby. We are back with CineBrief. I was going to say, I almost said CineTalk. CineBrief number 6. Number 6. You got it.
It's like a 6.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
I like it. I like your style. I like your moves. Anyway, what CineBrief is. This is a shorter, more informal show of our main show, which is CineTalk. CineBrief is just more brief. So what we're going to do, we just dive right in, splash, and go for it. And what we're going to do today is, because something that just recently happened, we were going to do some filming on the Oscar party, but things got a little out of hand. There was a lot of libations.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I can't speak to it, but I'm guessing that there was some...
It would have been awesome if we could have Skyped you in during that. That would have been quite interesting.
Sounds like it.
Anyway, so we had a little Oscar party here at my house, not in this room, but here. And I lost my voice, so if my voice starts to go as this show goes on,
I'll take over.
Yeah, that's just what's going on.
And then so everyone's going to listen to me for about 20 some odd minutes, and they're like, the ratings on this show are going to go.
So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the Oscars that just happened. We're just going to go real quick, recap everything, just real briefly. What were your overall feelings on how Chris Rock did as a host for the second time?
I thought he was great. I enjoyed his opening monologue. I thought he... And I thought he did a good job of sort of carrying through the theme that we all knew he was going to come in with. He did it all night, but it was so funny because I was very worried about it going into the show, like it was going to be too offensive, like too anti-white, but it really wasn't. And he didn't. It wasn't like he brought it up.
He picked on both sides.
He picked on both sides, but he kept it. It felt light to me though. Yeah. It never.
There was a couple of comments that were a little overboard, like when he talked about, grandma swinging from the tree and all that. Like that was like, whoa, he just went dark.
You had to expect some of that, though.
Right.
He is still a racy kind of comedian, so you have to expect that a little from him.
Can we all agree that Stacey Dash, when she came out, that joke totally bombed?
Yeah. Yes. All right. So he didn't hit. Not everything was home run. There were a couple of moments, but I thought he did very well. Yeah. The opening monologue, like I said, I thought that was really good because that's got to be the hardest part. Yeah. As somebody who has just a massive fear of public speaking, the what he did in general frightens me. Yep. But opening monologues are the scariest part, and he had to know that the world was going to be focused on him in that opening monologue, and he nailed that.
Okay. Well, when I thought about the whole thing, I thought I thought he did an amazing job, kind of just keeping the pace, keeping it light and lively, and then overall the show in general was just really well done. I thought this is the most fun I've had watching an Oscars, probably since Billy Crystal, because we have, even with Ellen, which I thought her last time she did a very good job.
Yep.
There were times that were a little slow, but Chris Rock did an amazing job at just kind of keeping it light and lively and funny, and it was just the most entertained that I've been for an Oscars for a long time. I also like the way that how they had like the thank you scroll that was going across the bottom for every.
Yeah,
that was really well done because that really helped that speed up. They didn't have to worry about thanking everybody because it was going across the bottom of the screen.
That was a great new addition, a good new and I assume that will carry forward.
I hope so. All right, so now to move on real quick, were there any big surprises that you had overall in the out of all the Oscars that were given out?
I'm going to go in a slightly different direction here than you would probably think, and this is not related to any winners or non-winners. Okay. I think the thing that surprised me the most was, I know that these are all millionaires in the audience here, okay, right? But why are they carrying $64,000 worth of cash on them? I don't even carry cash, and I am by no means a millionaire. I put everything on my credit card because I think cash is totally worthless because you don't get anything for it. You only get the product that you're actually buying for it.
Right.
I just use credit cards for everything because I like to get points. So if I'm going to spend money, I want to get something more for it in addition to what I'm actually buying. Right. But why these millionaires are carrying $64,000+ worth of cash on them. What, in the off chance that Chris Rock was going to start hawking Girl Scout cookies?
Well, maybe because ever since the whole thing happened with Ellen, they're like, we're not going to miss out. We want to make sure that we get pizza.
That is true. There was the pizza thing. I didn't think about that. You could argue they made out even better this time with Girl Scout cookies. So
yeah. Much lighter snack. It's not as greasy. You don't have to worry about ruining a dress.
The only other surprise, and it didn't shock me that Mark Rylance won. I guess I was just, maybe this is more heartbreak than surprise about Sly, because I think the world wanted Sly to win.
Yeah.
And I think to some now, but it was funny though, because afterwards I heard a couple things the next morning on radio stations and stuff that people were actually calling it an upset that Sly didn't win. I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I said sentiment wanted him to win, but I don't know that it was a surprise. I actually thought either Rylance or Ruffalo might win.
Out of the people that I had watched all of those movies, and I thought that Rylance gave the best performance out of all of them. I thought Sly was neck and neck with Ruffalo. And if you wanted to give Sly it over Ruffalo or Ruffalo over Sly, that's fine. But I thought Rylance did the best. I just thought with the momentum that Sly had built up. So that's why I picked Sly, because I thought he just had all the momentum and he was going to get that vote. Which, unfortunately for my picks for the Oscars, I did end up winning the poll. By the way, I ended up winning. I got 15 out of 24, which isn't great, but it was pretty good. And Chad finished in second with 14 out of 24. So I was not part of that. I wish I had been. Yeah, we're gonna do it again next year. So anyway, so as far as the Oscars, like the kind of the surprises, that was probably one of the biggest surprises I think for most people, that Rylance won, because they were just expecting Sly to win. One of the ones that I had probably was Mad Max winning 6 awards. Now it's not to say that I don't think it deserved it. I do think it deserved it. I just thought it was going to get overlooked. But I'm glad it won all the technical awards, because it absolutely deserved all those technical awards.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to move on, and we're going to just go over this real brief, and that is Leonardo DiCaprio gets his first Oscar win. And this guy was very happy. I've never hugged another man for so long in my life. So I jumped up. Like, first of all, my sister posts on my page, because she was at the party. Sister posts on my page the next day. I can't remember what this Twitter guy, YouTuber, Vine guy, Logan Paul or Paul Logan, something like that. I can't remember what his name is, but he does a lot of funny videos. And post them on, and it's like them all going bananas.
I saw that. That was great.
Yeah, so
that was so great.
When Leonardo DiCaprio won, and my sister was like, "Yep, this was pretty much you." I was like, "If I had a teddy bear, I might have lit it on fire."
That was hilarious. That video was hilarious.
I jumped up out of my seat, and I was like, "Yeah!" And then Doug jumped up. I gave him a big hug, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he finally won, man! He finally won! You gotta be kidding me!" Everybody's like yelling at me. They're like, "Cry, cry, cry." I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm too happy.
Oh, see, you're not like me. I would see if that had been Harrison. I would have been bawling.
It's a little different. Harrison's got 20+ years on DiCaprio. So,
yeah, that's true. I think
you would got to think that Harrison's gonna get at least a lifetime achievement award soon.
He's going to have an Oscar on his mantle. It's just going to be the question: was it a lifetime, or was it?
He's getting a lifetime achievement. He's definitely getting that.
Right. So that golden statue, one way or another, is going to be on his mantle. It's just going to be what he get it for.
Right. All right. So the last little topic up that we have.
Hold on. Wait. By the way, though, I want to congratulate you, because I know that this was a long time coming for you. And I mean, he was 0 for 5, so it had to start sinking in. And I was happy for you. And I want to say this about Leo, though. Mm-hmm. And this is why, now I have not historically liked him. I've never really liked him. Not as an actor. I think he's an unbelievable actor. For some reason, he's always irked me as a person, and I've never really been able to identify the reason why. But I want to say this. He's starting to turn me, and it's not because he won an Oscar. Mm-hmm. He's starting to turn me. He started to turn me with The Great Gatsby, because you know how much I love him in that role. I know that movie got slammed. Mm-hmm. I thought that movie was great, and I thought I would not ever even pick another person to play that role. He was so great in it, in my opinion.
Okay.
What I loved about his speech was that this was he had 0 for 5. This was his opportunity to go up there and talk about himself. And what did he do? He turned it into a discussion about, climate control. Or, he picked a cause.
Yep.
Instead of using his platform to talk about himself, like 9 out of 10 guys would have done. See Matthew McConaughey, for example. Yeah. My biggest hero is me 10 years from now. Leonardo DiCaprio, now obviously he had that very well rehearsed, but I'm sure he had a pretty good inkling he was going to win. But he took the opportunity to use his platform for something greater than himself, and that deserves an applause.
I will say I've watched his speech probably half a dozen to a dozen times since the Oscars, and it's one of my more, and it's not just because he's my favorite, he's my favorite actor. He is given one of my favorite Oscar speeches that I've heard. Cuba Gooding Jr. is up there with that awesome speech that he had. I even like Halle Berry's, who, emotional. There's a lot of great Oscar speeches after, but I just loved how he just quickly was very appreciative, and he was, the crowd was going freaking bananas. They would have clapped for him for a half hour if he let him, but he just talked over him, and he was like, we're done. We don't need to keep doing this. Thank you very much. I'm not going to stop acting after this. Let's keep moving on. And now let me just talk about something that's a little bit more important. Yeah. And he went, and he didn't talk about it for, 5, 6, 7 minutes. He had this 60-second speech that he wanted to give about climate change, nail it, and then he walked off, and he was like, I'm done. And that was it. And he just kind of moved on, and now he's got that Oscar on his shelf, and
he's got it now. The monkey's off his back.
And I don't think it'll be his last.
I don't either.
All right, so we have another topic in the same realm here, and this is something that a Twitter friend that I have out there. Her name is Carly Kingsley. You can find her on Twitter under @CarlyKingsley. I'll put a little link in the description below. And she asks us, with the pre-show Oscars, 2 huge stories floating around, the Oscars So White and will Leo finally get an Oscar? She thinks that it was a huge PR gift that Leo won the Oscar, because if it wasn't for that, everyone would have been talking about the Oscars So White. I'm gonna go into this first. I had this little discussion with a friend of mine who came to the party who's African American. We have a lot of race discussion, especially involving in movies and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I like to say, that I said to him, and it's like, I feel like the people that you have Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith and Spike Lee and all that stuff, they are, for one, I think they're going to get rewarded for something that they didn't really do, and they're also missing the wrong part. And now I'm going to have to explain all this. Like, we have a movie coming out this year who has already done extremely well in the independent film awards and stuff like that, Youth of a Nation. And that movie is already the favorite to win every award, hands down. It's a predominantly black cast, and I'm not so sure that Jada Pinkett Smith didn't do this because of this. She probably knew this film was out there. She might have seen it already and was like, I'm protesting. And then next year it's going to seem like it changed because we're going to have this film come through and sweep the Oscars, and they're going to think that what we did was the whole purpose behind it. And I feel like they're getting rewarded for not actually doing anything. And that is unfortunate, because I think the bigger picture is you have more a problem with not enough black opportunities, not enough minority opportunities for roles. And we've talked about this before at length, is that we need more kind of colorblind casting like they had. And this is something that I've talked about before. Star Wars got roasted when they first came out with all of their cast. They had, everybody on there, it's whitewashed. There's nothing but white people, blah, 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 blah. And there's no women, blah, blah, blah. And what did they do? They slowly rolled out a cast that John Boyega, who ended up being cast as one of the leads, his character wasn't even supposed to be black. But they just saw his performance and said, yes, you are going to be in that role. And then you also got Captain Phasma, who's Gwendolyn Christie. They saw her performance, they put her in that role. So they got picked on a little too early. Now, as far as this whole thing, I think that if they had more color blinding, I think that something that the NFL does really well is they have that rule in place where black head coaches have to be interviewed for coaching positions when there is an opportunity. You can't just completely keep on picking all these white head coaches. So I think that you need something like that in the Hollywood. It's somehow, some way to get that in there. Obviously, there's some roles that you just can't cast for white or black, no matter what. You can't interchange the race. But I think you need more of that in this to kind of help out. And so this way we get more roles and more chances, because we don't have enough chances. Like, there was like 3 films that were in the running for Oscars this year. You had Straight Outta Compton, that was not very good in my opinion. You had Concussion with Will Smith, and then you had what was the other one? Beast of a Nation, which didn't even qualify because it was a Netflix movie. So like, you have all these things that just I just don't understand why they have all these gripes. Well, I do understand why they have the gripes. They're just griping against the wrong thing. So I just think that they're glazing over the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is they need more roles. They don't need to get voted for Oscars. They just need to give great performances. Sorry, Will, you didn't give a great performance. Sorry, Straight Outta Compton, it wasn't a great movie. You know, I don't know what to tell you. There's not much to go about that. They had a better argument the year before with Selma. They didn't do it. I'm sorry. You just missed your mark. So, I don't know. That's just my whole opinion on the whole thing. I've gone over and over and over again. What do you think?
Well, there was, I do want to mention, there was, I was catching up on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver today. And I think it was last week's episode. He had a really hilarious segment, which I would really recommend that people check out, about this particular subject and the casting of white people in roles that should be cast for completely different, races and ethnicities. And it was, of course, it was funny because it was on John Oliver, but it was also very sad because it was so obvious that, and this dates back years of, white casting where it was just completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
I agree with you, though, on the latter part of what you said, as far as, the roles have to be there. There need to be more roles. And the movies, they need to be better.
Yeah. You're not going to get rewarded for good. Like, just because you have a lot of roles, you're not going to get rewarded for good. I don't think that's fair.
Here's the other thing, though.
You get the elite get voted for this award. Leonardo DiCaprio has been one of the greatest actors for the last decade and a half, and he's been nominated 6 times, but he only won once.
Right.
Like that, and that's how great, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I want to touch on one of the points that she made, though, because she thought it was a huge PR gift that he won. I'm not going to agree with. I'm going to disagree with that because, first of all, to me, it was down to him or Fassbender.
Yep.
If Fassbender had won, as great as he was, and we saw it together, still would have been a shock. Because The Revenant...
They probably would have been talking about how Leo lost again.
They would have. But I think it would have been a bigger upset. I do not believe this was a PR gift. I don't think it was used to be smoke and mirrors or like a distraction to... listen, because first of all, there really was no distraction. The Oscar So White thing, that was prominent all night.
Yeah.
So there really was nothing to distract from. That was happening regardless. It wouldn't have mattered if Leo won or, that was going on anyway. That was the theme of the show.
Right.
So I don't think him winning was any sort of a PR gift to anybody. The truth is, I said it all along to you, weeks and weeks before that this was going to be a coronation. I kept using that word, a coronation, and that's exactly what it was. Huh. Everyone knew he was going to win because he deserved to win.
Yeah.
And if Fassbender had won, I might have said he deserved it too, but Leo earned it. Leo earned it.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
Excellent. I'm glad we're both in agreement with that.
Yeah,
so I do think that was probably something that was good. Either way, if he won or lost, that was going to be probably, I don't know, unfortunately, but probably more of the talk is that, why didn't Leo win, or why did he won? Oh my God, that's amazing. I think that either way, that probably would have been the main focus, because I think a lot of people in the United States that are watching this, even across the country, understand that there's a bigger picture than just the couple of roles that were out there that didn't get nominated. And most people probably agree that because they weren't that great of movies.
But that said, there's still an issue. In fact, now I'm actually remembering back to something that I did see on John Oliver, and there was this horribly racist quote from Ridley Scott that you have to look up. And I was like, wait, he really said that? I don't remember what it was specifically because I'm just recalling it now, but check that out. Check out that John Oliver segment. It was really, again, it was funny, but at the same time, it was also a little bit.
I remember Ridley Scott saying something about how his last movie, Gods Among Us, Exodus, Gods Among Us.
Yeah, Gods and Kings. That's what it was.
Gods and Kings. Yeah, Gods and Kings.
Yes, that's what it was.
When he actually said, yeah, I could go out and get,
that's the quote.
An actor that's of,
Yep.
That's an Egyptian kind of look or whatever.
But the way he said it was very racist. And
he's like, but I won't get my movie made.
Right.
Like if I have Christian Bale attached, I'll get financing to make my movie.
Right.
If I don't, I won't. So I can keep working or I cannot. Like that was kind of his opinion, and I'm like, that it's kind of true, which sucks. But
what he's saying, he just could have said it better.
He could have, yeah.
Because the way he said it was like, oh, somebody's last name that I can't pronounce or something like that. Just was really
that's
it was
pretty much
bad.
what he said. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next little segment here. Not segment, but topic. And we have a movie that's getting the release date pushed back. Actually pushed out so far, we don't even know if it'll ever get released. Gambit. The Channing Tatum Gambit movie gets pushed back out of its release date with no new release date in sight. Fox has also set release dates for 2 mystery Marvel titles in 2017 and 2018, and there's a good chance that one of those dates belongs to Gambit, but we don't know. So what do you think about the mystery titles? Go ahead.
I think one of them will be Gambit, but I'm actually hopeful that it's not. I'm hoping that this will be the creation of something called the Tatum effect, whereby you just push something off and push it off until it just leaves the consciousness of America, and it's just forgotten. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I actually just to clarify, I like Channing Tatum, but him in this role just did not. Yeah. So what I'm hoping now, I do believe one of those 2 titles will actually be Gambit, but I'm hoping that let's assume they're not. I'm hoping that one of them will be Deadpool 2, yep. And I'm hoping that the other one will be X-Force.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm thinking is I think that we're going to get, not only are we going to get an X-Force movie in that slot,
yeah,
because it's going to be a lot cheaper to make. Because at that time, they're also going to probably have a different Wolverine. And when you have a different Wolverine, that guy's going to be a lot cheaper to put in your movie. So you don't have to worry about the heavy price tag that comes with getting Hugh Jackman into your X-Force movie. Which you could also have a Deadpool and Wolverine crossover at that point in time, too. Because you could sign the guy for 6 movies and have it, first movie he's making $200,000. Second movie he's making $400,000. Third movie he's making $1.5 million. And then the fourth and fifth, that's where he starts making $5 to $10, $15 million. That's, I think X-Force is going to get put in one of those.
Scott Eastwood? Come on, take a look at him.
Yeah.
Solo too, I hope.
Yeah, so we have a new Wolf, possibly a new X-Force movie, possibly, obviously a Deadpool 2 movie that could be put in that slot. Gambit, I think they just want to reevaluate because Channing Tatum was pushing for this huge budget. He wanted $150 million budget, and then Deadpool comes out with a $50 million budget and slays the box office. So I think that's what they're probably the biggest little hiccup that threw out, the biggest wrench that got thrown into all this was that, Deadpool comes out and with a minimal budget, good effects, good story, fun, and destroyed the box office. So they were probably like, we don't need to spend $150 million on a Gambit movie. He's not the most popular X-Men character, so we can probably just limit that a little bit and then move forward and maybe get it down to a $40 to $60 million budget and still do a good job.
Real quick, I want to say I think X-Force has the potential to be the next Guardians of the Galaxy because it'll come in with probably pretty minimal fanfare, a lower budget than a lot of these other movies, and if it's good and it gets the right word of mouth the way Guardians did, it could explode.
It could be really good. I'd be interested to see how they take it because they could go, obviously if Deadpool's in it They can get some camp in there, but X-Force is typically darker. It's a darker movie, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Have to wait and see.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to move on. The next one up is, we have a really short time frame for this. Alien Covenant gets pushed up to August 4th, 2017, and Predator, the new Predator movie, gets a release date of March 2nd, 2018. What are your very quick thoughts on this little topic? I'll start off. I was pleased to see that the Alien Covenant is getting moved up. I like when movies are moving up instead of getting pushed out into non-existence.
Yeah,
I think that's much better, much cooler. I'm kind of interested to see how this plays out. I can't say I was a big fan of Prometheus, but I do want to see how the story unfolds. As far as Predator, I'm so excited. I'm excited that Shane Black is not only being one of the writers, but he is also going to be in line to direct it. And on top of that, he has a great. It's not even a reboot or I guess they're saying it's more of a sequel than a reboot because it's just still in that universe. So I think that's really cool, and that they have a really interesting way to kind of tie it all together. So that's the one I'm more looking forward to, just because I love the Predator. He's so freaking cool.
We're on opposite sides of this because I'm actually more looking forward to Alien Covenant because I was a huge Prometheus fan, and I really the way that movie ended, it's like, okay, I need to see the next step here.
Yeah.
I thought that movie was really well done too. I think I don't remember what the reviews were on it. I feel like it was relatively positive, but somewhat middling. But this, I loved it because I was such a big fan of the original Alien movies that I look forward to seeing this next installment. As for Predator, I guess the only thing I could say about Predator is that as much as I loved the original, I hope with this movie there's a cameo in the beginning with Arnold, and I hope he gets killed.
That would be awesome.
By the Predator.
That'd be so sweet.
I think
he's grooming some new guy to come in, and then he goes down like Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
That would be so sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to the next little subject right here, and we're just going to give you a little idea of what's coming out this coming week, and how we did, and give our predictions for the next coming week, because we do predictions every week, and we're kind of keeping a tally and all that kind of stuff. Sorry for my throat. I'm starting to lose my voice. This was the top 5 last week. Deadpool in the first slot, Gods of Egypt in the second slot, Kung Fu Panda 3 in the third slot, Risen stays in at 4, and 999 is in the 5th slot. We didn't. I didn't think we didn't do all that great. So
this was you and Shane. You and Chad.
Me and Chad. We both got one. Was it one? Yeah, 1 out of 5. It's not a good week. Not gonna lie to you, not a good one. But what the movies that are coming out this coming week, you've seen, I believe, 2 of these movies already. The first one is London Has Fallen, and that is in London for the Prime Minister's funeral. Mike Bannon discovers a plot to assassinate all the attending world leaders. So that is the first one that's up this week. Second one is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, or as some people like to call it, WTF, yes. A journalist recounts her wartime coverage in Afghanistan and Pakistan. This is starring Tina Fey and Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie had a hilarious little routine that she did with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, with Jimmy.
So good. That whisper routine, the whisper little skit that they did was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so attractive. So, all right. So then we have, last up is Zootopia. And in a city of anthropomorphic animals, a fugitive con artist, fox, and a rookie bunny cop must work together to uncover a conspiracy. Now, you watched 2 of these movies. Just give me a quick rundown of both. What you saw, London Has Fallen. I'm going to see Whiskey Tango Foxtrot hopefully this weekend, if not the next weekend. But I might be going to see one of these 2 on Thursday night, and I'll hopefully do a review on Friday. So give me your quick thoughts.
I'll start with London Has Fallen, and I'm going to give the Shane Moore-esque ratings too.
All right, good.
Which I did text you last night. So London Has Fallen. Let's just put it this way for Gerard Butler. He had a really crappy start of the week, Gods of Egypt, and he bounced back. I don't remember what I said. I want to say I gave Gods of Egypt a 1.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm giving London Has Fallen a 7 out of 10. Okay. London Has Fallen was everything that you would have expected it to be, and there were some cool lines and some really, I mean, the only reason I didn't give it a higher grade because some of the dialogue was just so cheesy. But
it's a London Has Fallen movie.
But the story, listen, the story was, eat, sleep, wash, rinse, repeat from Olympus Has Fallen, okay? Yeah. But there were some great one-liners. There was so much patriotic stuff in here. Uh-huh. There was one line where I actually, and I don't do this very often, I actually, screamed out in the movie theater. I can tell you without spoiling the story. I'll give you a very quick synopsis of what he said. But basically, he had a certain terrorist in a chokehold, and he was like, and I'm not going to say everything that he said before, but he's like bottom line, in 1,000 years we're still, America's still going to be here, and we're still going to be great. And I think I just said something like, yeah, we are, and I said it loud, loud, and I was like. Whoops. I got into it.
Nice.
But there was also a really cool segment in the movie, and again, not to give away anything, but it was like a first-person video game thing. Like I could actually see them turning this movie into a video game easily.
Okay.
Easily. All right. So 7 out of 10 on that. Really enjoyed it. It was just classic popcorn movie. Sit back and watch Gerard Butler do what he does in those kind of movies.
Okay.
So Gerard bounced back in a good way. Zootopia, a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
And I want this. You could put some kind of cool icons on the screen or something, but I'm telling you right now, Disney is going to win its 4th animated best feature film in a row with this movie.
Really?
I'm going to come just short of guaranteeing it because I'm not a betting man, but I'm telling you right now, if it doesn't win, then I can't wait to see the movie that beats it. Because this movie, from beginning to end, was awesome.
That's
absolutely awesome.
That's great. Because the trailers didn't really sell you that it was going to be a fantastic movie, but I thought it was going to be okay and cute at times. But
the trailers completely undersold how entertaining this movie was. And a lot of what you saw in the trailers was the sloth scene, which, by the way, the sloth scene is actually still funny. It's actually funnier than it even comes off in the trailers. Like, that might have actually still been the scene I laughed the most at, even though I knew it was coming. Because they basically showed the majority of that scene in the trailer.
Right.
It was still hilarious. That's how you know. That's how you know, like, a movie's really good.
Yeah. Kids
will love this. Adults will love this. I always get the feeling like when there are certain kids' movies that come out, and I sometimes feel like I laugh more because, again, there's so many jokes that are built in there for the kids, but both of these movies were really enjoyable, but Zootopia, I'm telling you, Disney is just that is a train that is just unstoppable right now. They are rolling.
All right.
They are rolling, and they are cranking out quality films.
I like to hear that. That's great. All right, so now after doing all that, let's go over your picks for, just give me your top 5 at the box office, what you think's going to come in. Yeah, give me your top 5.
So I'm gonna go.
And I'm going to write them down as we go.
Right, I'm gonna this is a natural segue. I'm actually gonna go with Zootopia being one.
Okay.
I think you've just got that built-in audience with kids and adults, so it's all right. I can tell you want me to move on right to number 2. I actually think London Has Fallen will be 2. I think Deadpool will be 3. And I'm gonna go with maybe a slight upset here for 4 and 5. I'm gonna say that maybe somehow Eddie the Eagle makes a little bit of a leap and gets into 4.
Whoa.
And then 5, I'm gonna go with WTF, but boy, am I not feeling confident about that.
All right.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot at 5.
Okay, so I'm close with you. I have my number 1. I have, in a landslide, Zootopia.
Yeah.
It's a kids movie, and I've heard nothing but great things. You have, just given me more You've affirmed my what I've heard for Zootopia. So I think it will be one. London Has Fallen. I think it's an action movie that's going to come out. People are going to want to go out and rinse their palate of Gods of Egypt.
Yes.
So I think that London Has Fallen will finish in the second slot.
Cleanse yourself.
Yes. Deadpool will continue to stay strong in the third slot. And then I think we're going to get Whiskey Tango Foxtrot in the fourth slot. And I say Gods of Egypt is just out altogether. And I say that Kung Fu Panda is going to get the leftovers from Zootopia when all the sold out shows. So I think that's how it's going to work out. And that's pretty much where we're going. Now, we're pretty much done here for today. But I do want to just address something that, because you saw a movie recently and you kind of gave it a little bit of a bad rating with Gods of Egypt, 1.5 out of 10. But Alex Proyas has come out and said some stuff on Twitter and stuff like that about, basically bashing critics for basically saying his movie was crap and all that kind of stuff, and how, he was also complaining about the whitewashing and all that kind of stuff. And I know that I figured you might be a little taken aback to that. Yeah, go ahead. We have to keep this under a minute, but yes, I want you to
quickly let me just read the quote from him. "We have a pack of diseased vultures pecking at the bones of a dying carcass," Proyas went on to write. "Trying to peck to the rhythm of the consensus, I applaud any film goer who values their own opinion enough not to base it on what the pack mentality says is good or bad." Here's the thing, Alex. Your film sucked. It was really bad, okay? That's just the way it is. So basically what it sounds to me like he is saying is, if you think my movie was bad, then you're just part of this pack mentality. No. If you think the movie is bad, that's because you're in your right mind. You saw it and you knew it was a flaming piece of shit when you saw it. This is not a pack mentality. Okay, and here, I'll give you an exact reason why. I went to the movie before I saw any reviews on it, because I was at a screener, so a few days before it came out. I had no chance to review anything. There wasn't really anything out there to review. Okay? I told you on the show, right after that movie was over, my brother-in-law and I looked at him, and the first thing I said to him was, "Oh, well, that was awful." I mean, it was a bad movie. Listen, Alex, bad movies are made all the time. You've helmed a few of them. So you should know, okay? I mean, I don't know what else to say. It was a really bad movie. Listen, sometimes you're going to swing and miss. That's life. Yeah, you don't hit everything out of the park.
Sound like somebody's a little sore. That's all. He's a little grumpy because he didn't get good ratings. He hasn't gotten good ratings in a long time. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for us here at CineBrief number 6.
On that note.
And where can people find you on the Twitter's verse and social media?
Facebook.com/HollywoodBrian, Twitter at @the_Bry_man, and on Instagram at BKC8377. Please follow me. I need your attention. I crave it.
You can find me pretty much everywhere. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Movie Pilot, all that stuff at the Cinebros. You can find me also on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It is youtube.com/themoviehousemaniacs. Videos all over the place. Just go there and subscribe and hit buttons and just keep doing it and create new profiles and keep subscribing. All that crazy stuff. But we hope you had a good time watching the show today. Yeah, that's pretty much it for us. So we will have to say see you later, guys.
Stay cool. Stay classy, planet Earth.
If you watch the show on YouTube, please click that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And thank you for watching.